pressure's gone, I think I'm hoping we're going to get more of the best 48, not just guys that they can feel like can handle the situation, so to speak, because that's how I feel they went last
Well,
week.
Chicago, I also had another, instead of just choosing the veteran presence, what we're going with, it kind of occurred to me. David Montgomery is an inside the tackle runner. He's not a outside the tackle runner where Dalvin Cook likes to get off those stretch plays and kind of turn the corner. Montgomery is the guy, he smash mouth you in the front. That's why they kept guys like Lancaster and Fidel Brown active, because they play well inside. Um, Kingsley Kiki, our awesome family member that we've had on a couple times now, is he plays well, getting those stretch runs, getting off the ball quick. He has really good speed for a big guy, and I just think him, Adams, Clark, I mean Lowry, they're all quick off the ball for big guys, and especially with those lateral movements, like you said with Kingsley, all of them got that. So I just don't see Lancaster being there because he's an inside run stuffer. He's not inside and
Well,
outside.
and the other thing that kind of makes Kingsley, I think, viable in this game is how he plays his rush too. That move we were giving him crap about, that's his favorite move. When you're playing the zone
You
stretch,
mean the shoulder peak?
right? It's almost the exact technique of what you want, because what you don't
Yeah.
want is to overcommit to one way because it gives him the backside cut. With the way he holds the point there, if he starts to cut backside, he can shuck his guy, and he's like we were just saying, he's got the burst then to close that speed and make that play then. And so I think I'm curious, because I do believe with just the skills he's showing us in the preseason, I believe he's almost got the perfect technique for this zone run scheme they run there in Minnesota also.
You need your athletic defensive lineman for this running back. That's what you need. And Dave Montgomery, he's athletic. I'm not saying he's an athletic running back, but he's an inside the tackle runner.
And you saw it. He's a guy, he takes guys with him and falls forward for 2 yards. He's that classic, yeah, you're going to make contact, you'll make it, but he wears you. That's the fail here, is he's that type of running back, he's not going to get going until you get to him plus 15 carries. And a lot of those first 15 carries are going to be real, like 3 yards or less. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be real successful. But here's the deal. That shit wears defenders out, man, and they get sore. And then guess what? By the end of the third and fourth quarter, had they stuck with it, even as good as the defense was playing there, that he's the type of guy you just got to
big men get tired.
Right, you just got to commit to it. He's the type of guy, plus 15 carries. He's starting to get going. He's got a little more power as those other guys are getting beat up. He's able to push through. Now he's getting 3 yards and then 2-3 yards after contact. Now those 3 yard, 1-3 yard, they're 5-6 yards falling forward, you know? And so that was the fail when I go back and watch it. It's not, yes, the Packers, you can't say they didn't force them into the pass, but it was also, just like JB said,
there was no commitment,
And Andy Herman, he also said it, who's a Packers guy. They also failed to commit to it, to let it work later in the game with who they have in their personnel and what those type of backs need to be able to be effective in a game like this. They didn't give him a chance to get to his effective carries to see if it was going to actually pan out. And in a close game like that, that is a huge fail. So you're not wrong in the play calling there, but this defense was still stellar nonetheless.
Oh, I mean, yeah, when you lead the league in 17 pressures right now, I mean, your defense is in the face of offense all night. Run defense and pass defense. I mean, it was a beautiful across the board defensive game from each phase of the defense. And there was no glaring holes at all. And my biggest thing, and I keep looking over this, Jay, I am getting more and more excited about Amos and Savage over Rudolph.
Well, it was like I was telling JB last night. This is the first year where their offense, even though they have much better skill positions, look, I'm not trying to pick on the Bears here, but don't be naive. all of their skilled positions, both wide
Good.
receivers, even their slot receiver, I think he hasn't produced, but he has the potential right now from what you've seen to be a guy that's actually viable in Chad Beebe, okay, out of the slot. If they use him properly, I think he can be a very effective guy for the next few years playing that exact position. But just given tight ends, starting wide receivers, running back, quarterback, they're all better than what the Bears offer. I'm sorry. But at the same time, this is the first year we're going into this matchup where I can actually match our defense up, and I actually have several options that I feel pretty damn comfortable. Even if something were to happen, God speak, knock on wood, I feel confident enough now in Tony Brown being to go over and match up because of his speed. He can match up with either Thielen or Diggs. Tony Brown can run stride for stride with. So
he's a track athlete.
Right. That's my point is there's a difference this year in this team. Speed is not going to kill them. Maybe they get beat on some great route running or this or that. And I look, that's going to happen because wide receivers are taught to their route running is supposed to shake defenders off and make them open if they're that good. So you're going to see route running ability. The elite guys are still going to get open. What you're not going to see anymore is guys just getting shucked and beat because they're too slow. And that's what has been a big problem on why big plays and always seem to happen in years past on these defenses in Green Bay. What was the biggest play? 26 yards last week?
Yeah, it wasn't much. I think that was Allen Robinson on the left sideline is the one that caught that big play.
Yeah, and I think it was like either 24 or 26 yards. That was
It wasn't over 30.
That's what I'm saying. Like there was never any game field shifting, 30-plus yard, field tilting, field shifting, plays out of this defense. And those are going to get better as guys get comfortable playing with each other on the field in these coverages. Because, again, as good as they looked, they still didn't get a lot of time on the field in the preseason together either. So there's a lot to like here. But, this game, if the offense can get things going, I think the defense is good enough to shut down this Vikings and make this – it could be a very one-sided – even though I've got this being a field goal fest.
There's one thing that I've noticed from a big change from Capers to Pettine. I know Capers was 2 years ago, but still, just a notice of it. Capers, when he had a successful weak spot on the offensive line, he'd go after it maybe for a little bit. He wouldn't go after it the whole game. Pettine, if he smells blood in the water, he will eat up that weak spot all game long. And right now, Pat Elflein for the Vikings, he did not practice yesterday. He was limited today. And apparently this knee injury came towards the end of the Vikings game in Atlanta, or in Minnesota against Atlanta. So I'm just saying, if they have to put up a backup center against Kenny Clark, the Smith brothers, and Gary, Pettine is going to wreak holy hell on the interior of that offensive line.
Do you know what else I like about what you just said, too? Is that Pettine's also smart enough. He seems to have impeccable timing with, okay, like you said, he's been attacking that weakness, attacking that. And it's like about the time where the next time he did it would be the time where they made the adjustment and it wouldn't work and a big play would happen. He's got
three plays ahead in this game.
He's just got this instinct, and all of a sudden, that play where they're like, oh, they're going to do it, and he lines up and shows them, and then all of a sudden, boom, that coverage drops, and they've slid their protection completely away, and instead of one guy that the blitz is designed to get there, because they've now adjusted because he's playing this chess game with them, now you get two or three guys coming completely free because their protection got slid away from where the blitz was actually – this is why you saw the reaction from Aaron Rodgers. Honest to God, it's shit like that a guy that's so smart, quarterbacks don't act like that just to every defensive coordinator. They treat defensive coordinators and have those reactions to games like this to guys that they look and go, he would have confused the shit out of me if I had to play. God damn, I'm glad I don't have to.
Beautiful 30-yard pass. Sorry to interrupt, but I know Cam, you're saying his arm, but his arm just showed a 30-yard pass.
Yeah, and what did it go about 20 yards in the air, and he looked like he had to throw it as hard as he could?
No, actually, he just kind of flicked the wrist. It's kind of hope maybe he can get a little bit. He's such a hater, Jay. Anyways, back to Tetton. No, I completely agree. It's like he's always 3 to 4 plays ahead of the offense he's against. And he even came out today. The reason why, that was actually a question today about that. He was at the podium taking questions today before LaFleur, and so was Hackett and Meninga. Pettin was asked, how does it seem like, I think it was either Nagler or Ryan Wood. They said that, how is your defense going to be ready for the Vikings and the kind of a bigger playbook they have with Kevin Stefanski, the new offensive coordinator? And he said he came out first line. This is probably one of the most high IQ bunch of guys I've ever coached, and that's saying a lot because Buffalo and Jets, when I was over them as a defensive coordinator, was a really, really good group of guys. But these guys I'm with now are smart, and they're not only physically talented, but they're smart, and that's why we're able to take this jump in year 2 like this.
Well, and then you had, and those group of guys, that includes a starting rookie who everybody's talked about how smart he is. And so that intelligence shown from a rookie, and I'm sure the coaches see that. Now he doesn't have to curtail certain things because he's got to try to protect him or the
whole playbook is at his availability.
He doesn't know he can't depend on him knowing his exact position or if this happens in this check he's got to worry that he's going to get confused. He really right now, even with rookie back there in a very key position because of the way he plays a lot, ends up in a lot of single high safety where Savage is responsible for making the right decision and being in the right place, and that's a lot to ask from a young kid. And he's just like he's admitting, I'm just going to go out there and do my thing. This defense we can do whatever we need to do that I feel like I need to do to be able to stop and stymie whatever offense we're playing. And that is a big deal. That's not something in the way we've heard chatter coming from the defensive side of the ball in over a decade. Let's just be real. Like, this is a different feel to this team and this season already. It feels like this is a defensive team that the offense is having to frickin' catch up to how good the defense is. And it's just weird almost in some ways.
I mean, it is because we're not used to that. We're used to the offense and McCarthy and Thompson putting the pressure on Rodgers saying, here, carry this franchise. Rodgers is everyone says, oh, yeah, he was one of the worst QB performances in week 1. We're like, yeah, he was. He was in a new offense, a hostile environment. They still won, and the guy's kicking back in a freaking lawn chair right now in his backyard smiling because he doesn't have to carry the goddamn team.
And let's be real. One of the things we've been harping on is that QB performance was so terrible because of his own doing. Some of the crap was not the Bears playing such great defense. The Bears did not force him to dirt a 3-yard flat ball and dirt it into a 6'7" tight end's foot. They didn't force him to not take a check down on left or right, on a third down where they might have been able to convert that third down while his guard's getting beat and he's just standing there holding the ball for no damn reason. The Bears defense on at least 4+ RPOs didn't make him hold the ball. He just chooses to hold it because he thinks he's going to get the next open window and make a big play and ends up taking a sack or and making a poor throw. Like, some of those things were just Aaron Rodgers just needing to trust the system and just use the proper mechanics and do what we all know he can do. That's why we get pissed about it, because then he goes back when you really got to have it and does all those things. That's why we get upset about it. And so,
well, this is his first live week.
Exactly. As bad as that performance was, this is still his preseason. So it's like, I hate it when they do crap like this because it forces me to almost feel like I'm being an Aaron Rodgers apologist, and that's not the case here. But if you're going to say stupid shit and just – this is why I hate stat